It is really cold, and welcome back to Big Mouth, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the dceu Daily. And today's whole episode is going to be referencing Zack Snyder doing a very Zack Snyder-y thing. So yesterday, thanks to a kind of exchange between Zack Snyder and a fan on Vero, we found out that Zack Snyder's Justice League will not be streamed as 4 episodes anymore. Now, originally, Zack told us at DC Fandom, and this was actually official at the time, that Zack Snyder's Justice League was actually going to stream as 1 hour, 4 1-hour episodes, right? Even I'm getting confused. So now, according to Zack, now, it was an odd exchange in a way because he was asked randomly if it's still going to be in 4 1-hour episodes or one shot. Zack just replied, one shot. Now, he hasn't, and now everyone's talking about it, and he hasn't come out to say it's not true. So this is how I understand the Zack Snyder's Justice League situation globally, including America. So if we're right about the exchange on Vero, and who knows with Zack, things change, not daily, hourly. I love him. But he's brilliant. So, yeah. So let's look at this. So Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think, is either going to release at the end of February or early March. I think that's definite. But don't discount at the end of February. I think this is going to have to be a global date because Zack is running this thing. He's the one who's deciding when this thing happens, how it's sold, how it's marketing. Zack is in charge of everything. Zack always is very highly involved in the marketing of his movies and content. Now, that's not normal for a writer-director. Normally, it's the studio or the network who kind of run the marketing, their marketing department, but he's fully in charge. And I think what they've done with this, because he was treated so badly, Warner Media have been really good and said, you know what, you can just run this whole thing, the marketing, the movie, you can plug it to any way you want to the public. And I think this is what he's doing. And so I think globally, this will probably be released on February the 25th. I don't know that. That's just a guess, or at least maybe the 1st to the 5th of March, that kind of launch date. So how are we going to see this? Right, if you're in America, you already know. It's going to stream on HBO Max as a 4-hour plus movie. Now, Zack's also confirmed that Zack Snyder's Justice League is 4 hours without the end credits. Now, we know there's no post-credit scene or end credit scene, which is perfectly fine. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to sit there with all the credits, with all that junky Excel, beautiful music, bashing out right on my TV, full blast, pissing my dad off. And so that's what I'm going to do. So over 4 hours, at least 4 hours 5, 4 hours 10 minutes. And Snyder's films, sometimes they have opening credits, sometimes they don't. Now, I know Nolan's films don't have opening credits. And literally, really, Nolan was in charge of Man of Steel. That film didn't have opening credits. But Zack Snyder's BVS had opening credits over the sequence of Bruce Wayne's origins in BVS. So I would imagine he'll probably have an opening credit sequence with I love seeing all the names anyway. I actually read them out. I'll go like, a Zack Snyder film. Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I do that. I've been doing that since I'm a kid because I'm freaking nuts. Anyway, so this is how I see it. HBO Max, 4-hour plus movie on whatever date they decide. I think soon, sooner than you think. So you'll be able to watch that. I don't know how long for, maybe for a month like Wonder Woman 84. It will also have, at the same time, I believe, a limited theatrical release around the world and even in America in theatres where you can go to. I think that's definitely going to be a thing. Now, I also think that basically we can't see it outside of the US because we can't watch HBO Max. So it doesn't look like they're selling this film or allowing Netflix or another streamer to show it. So I think what they're actually going to do, us outside of the US, we will either be able to go and watch it in a movie theatre, we're open, or we'll be able to buy it digitally, or actually buy it physically, like a 4K or a Blu-ray. Now, that's how I'm seeing it. Now, I could have got that last bit wrong. It could be realistic that we can only pay-per-view Zack Snyder's Justice League digitally. But I don't care about that. I'm going to do that. And I don't care if it's 16, 20 euros, quid, whatever. I'm going to rent it again and again and again till I'm fucking bankrupt and I can't fucking eat. I don't care. And I think you fellow Snyderverse fans, you feel me, right? Because you know I'm a DC fan all round. But I love Zack Snyder and I love his DC movies. But I've only seen his other movies like once or twice. But when it comes to DC, his DC movies are a work of art. Now, I have other opinions about Ray Fisher that we don't agree with. A couple of people unfollow me. I'm always honest about my opinions and frank. I will never lie to you to keep your subscription. I can only speak my own truth. Like I've just had a bit of an argument with someone else that I actually like. But that's life. If you give me a hot take I don't agree with, we're going to have a heated debate. It doesn't mean I hate you. It doesn't mean I want to eat your head or anything. I'm very passionate. You're very passionate. You know, if I think you're talking shit, I'm going to answer back to you as constructive as I can while keeping my cool, which is very difficult for us fanboys and fangirls. But it's fun to be passionate, isn't it? So, with this announcement being made, it's not really an announcement. Zack basically doing a Zack Snyder-y thing and basically releasing a piece of information via Vero by talking to someone. I think maybe that fan might even be a plant. That question might be a plant just so he can put it out there that, you know, they've scrapped the idea of doing 4 one-hour episodes of Zack Snyder's Justice League and now it's just a one-shot movie. So with that, we've got the hot takers saying, ooh, the only people who are going to want to watch that are Zack Snyder fans of the Snyderverse. A mainstream audience won't sit there to watch a 4-hour movie. Really? Really? That's your freaking hot take? That's your hot take? Do you ever look in the mirror? Do you ever talk? Do you ever listen to what you're saying? Right? Me and my friends went to see JFK, a 3-hour plus movie. Me and my friends went to see Titanic, a 3-hour movie, or just under 3 hours. Me and my friends went to see Braveheart, about a 3-hour movie. As a kid, I watched the 10 Commandments. That's nearly 5 hours long. I sat there as a kid. Now, don't forget this. I sat there because it was on TV. We didn't have Blu-rays back then. And the VHS when I was young wasn't available. But I think Christmas time they used to put these type of films on. I sat there watching a 4.5-hour movie or whatever it was for about 5.5 hours because I sat there watching it with adverts. Right? I did that. I didn't say, ooh, I'm not a fan of the 10 Commandments. I've never read the fucking Bible before. So how can I watch the 10 Commandments? Do you see how shit your logic is? Now, I'm a biased DC fan and I'm a biased Snyderverse fan. But if I actually logically believed that no one else but the fans of Snyder's DCEU were going to come in and watch this, I would say it. But how can people literally see this as a negative? Do you know what? From the moment I heard the rumour that they were doing the 4 one-hour episodes, I lost my shit on this channel. Go back and refer to the video if you find it, because they're not catalogued in order, unfortunately, because like my bedroom and my bed, my YouTube videos are an absolute mess. Even the way I do the videos are a mess, and I apologise that the microphone isn't perfect and the sound isn't perfect and the camera isn't shiny, squeaky clean, but that's how I am. I'm really on one today, by the way. Right. If I actually believed that this one-shot way of watching it for straight 4 hours would hurt it, I'd say so, but it's not going to hurt it. You know what? I have to look after my disabled father. I can't even watch a 2.5-hour movie sitting there. So I pause. And the great thing about streaming and watching things digitally these days, you can just go back and watch it where you left it. It's beautiful. So how I'm going to watch it is when I put my dad to bed about 9:30, 10 o'clock on the day in question, I will sit there with my popcorn in the evening and put the volume as loud as I can, but I won't be able to put it up too loud because he'll be asleep. Actually, fuck him, fuck him. I'll put it up loud. I don't give a shit. This is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Sorry, Dad, but that's life, right? This is the most important thing ever. More important than you, more important than anyone else. We've fought for 3 years for this film. So quite right too. So why do I believe people are going to be willing to sit there and watch a 4-hour plus movie? Well, us fans who fought for this are obviously going to come in. And let's just say this. Even if the mainstream didn't come in, HBO Max released this because they saw a trending event that saw 1 million tweets. 1 million fucking tweets. Do you believe in your little mind those 1 million tweets were just us from the Snyderverse doing it? Of course not. The mainstream got involved as well because the mainstream are intrigued about this film. Oh, and there was another debate I was having yesterday. Apparently, the mainstream audience don't know about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Are you being serious? It's everywhere. Everybody knows about the Snyder Cut. I go on football channels and they're talking about it here on YouTube, right? Oh, but the answer to that apparently is, yeah, but that's because they go on the internet. And how many movie fans don't go on the internet? But even if that's the case, right, everybody knows about the Snyder Cut. It's famous. There's been billboards. It's illogical to say the mainstream audience don't know about Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's an absolute joke. HBO Max are going to get the biggest streaming event in the US of A. And this is why they did it. They did their due diligence. They knew. This is what? Why do you think this fucking company injected 70 million plus into Zack Snyder's reshoots and him going back to do what he needed to do to the film? Why? Why? Because they're going to make money. Do you really think they gave Zack 70 million plus because they thought, maybe people will come in? I don't think the mainstream will come in. No. Nobody knows about Zack Snyder's Justice League, do they? No. Everybody knows. Everybody who watches films knows about Zack Snyder's Justice League unless their head has been up their own arse. But you see, everyone has their hot takes. Some people are really disappointed it's not going to be in episodes. Why? I mean, it would have been interesting to have it in an episode format, but I never wanted that. I never ever wanted that, and I was always clear. I want to watch it how it was meant to be, right? Now, clearly, we have to talk about why it's no longer going to be streamed in an episodic format. Now, that is interesting. Is this good for the future or bad for the future? Because even though I didn't want to really see it in episodes for my first viewing, I kind of saw this as a positive because they were doing kind of a Justice League season 1 and then a season 2. Does this mean now they're saying, oh, fuck it, let's put it out there as quick as possible. We're not doing the episodes thing. There won't be other seasons. We're done with this fan base and we're done with you, Zack. Could it be that? Now, that is a legitimate concern. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter how toxic you are. And it does, by the way. Of course it does. You shouldn't be toxic. You shouldn't bully people just because they don't agree with you. And sometimes I need to calm down when I'm arguing with people. Just had a major row with someone on Twitter because things get heated. But it's very frustrating when people... I mean, it's funny, actually, isn't it? When people can be defensive of the runtime of Superman and Lois. Now, that's been billed as a 2-hour premiere. Now, you and I know that will have so many ads in it, which will take down the footage of the episode to about 90 minutes or 1 hour, 20 minutes, right? We all know that. And there's no justifying, right? Yes, I know all shows who have ads. So if a 20-minute sitcom is 20 minutes, it runs for 30 minutes. But no network goes, right, Only Fools and Horses soon. No, let's give another one. Friends, which was about 20 minutes. No one used to plug Friends and go, the 30-minute premiere of Friends. No. Yes, it was listed as a 30-minute show, but it wasn't marketed as a 30-minute show. And that's the difference, right? And it's funny people can defend that, but when we hear that Zack Snyder's Justice League will be a one-shot, 4-hour-plus movie, apparently that's going to put people off. Apparently, mainstreamers don't know about Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's absolutely crazy. And these are the things that triggered me about movie Twitter. These hot takes about absolutely everything. Warner Brothers is a bad studio. End of story. How many times have we been told the DCEU is dead, or the DCEU doesn't have any legitimacy, and it keeps on coming back and back and back and keeps on making money, right? Even Wonder Woman 84 is making money, but they don't want to add the pay-per-view the studio's making out of this, because they know once it's added to the NIA, because when Wonder Woman 84 has had its run, that film would have made just under $200 million globally, right? I think. So then you have to add all the other countries' pay-per-view receipts. And then maybe that will bump it up to maybe 300 million. Now, 300 million isn't good normally, and it isn't a big profit, but at the end of the day, they're getting their money back in a pandemic. Now, they're going to have to find, look, I don't know how long this pandemic's going for. There's so many new strains coming. I mean, I think that this pandemic is our generation's, our people's, humanity's World War III. You know, this is something that's, taking our finances away. We can't live as well. This is something for the next 5 years I think we're going to be battling again. So we better get used to it. So studios are going to have to find a way to show their movies so they make a profit. And I think pay-per-view is the best way. If Wonder Woman 84 wasn't actually on HBO Max, which actually brought them some money with, subscriptions for HBO Max, and I understand that. But what they've got to measure is, what's more worthwhile? Doing it the way they're doing it this year, Warner Brothers, with kind of breaking the release window, having it in cinemas, and having it on HBO Max. Now, if we didn't live in such a backwards industry, we could just say, we're not releasing it in theatres, or we are releasing it in theatres, and you can see this film globally on pay-per-view for about $20, Nikes or €20 or whatever your currency is. This is what I spoke about before. If they did that from the beginning and it wasn't on HBO Max, yes, it's in theatres where they're open, and $20, €20, 20 sterling per view, then Wonder Woman 84 actually would have made a lot more money if you think about it. But because HBO Max is new, because HBO Max hasn't been able to sustain brand new content like Netflix has done, because let's be honest, Netflix were working during lockdown last March. They were making things. We all know that now. They're just teasing and showing off about releasing a movie. Is it a week or a day? I don't know. Did they say a movie a day or a movie a week? I can't remember. Anyway, so those movies had to have been shot sometime. Think about that. Anyway, so I think if in this new kind of war of this kind of virus, I think the most profitable kind of way to do it is pay-per-view and movie theatres where open. So that's how I would have done it. And I think Wonder Woman 84 probably could have bumped itself up to a lot more money. Obviously, Wonder Woman 84 is a bit of a divisive movie. Not everyone likes it. But I think a movie that everyone's going to love is James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. And I think that's going to make a hell of a lot more money. But it's just funny when I see these hot takes. People will come in to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League out of intrigue or love. It's going to be very successful. I can finally watch Zack Snyder's vision for Justice League, but not just for Justice League, for the first two movies. We can binge them, all three movies. I mean, it's going to take a long time, but it's still worth sitting there to do it. Look, this is brilliant. Zack's brilliant. And at the end of the day, these hot takes have just got to be, you've got to lay these hot takes off. But it's interesting, isn't it? How people are happy to defend the CW, lying about the length of the premiere of Superman and Lois, but then they're talking about an actual 4-hour movie that's actually 4 hours and the length's not being lied about, and then kind of making up this hot take that no one's willing to sit there unless they're invested, like the Snyder fans, not willing to sit there to watch a 4-hour plus movie. We know that's not true. We know there's been lots of epic movies, 3-hour plus before, where people have sat down in their droves to watch. A bit like Avengers Endgame. 3 hours. Don't forget that. So it's easy to expose these kind of hot takes. Anyway, I want to know what you think. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter @MoviesTVMad. See you again soon.